Glad.
I think 4-H camp is cool. The most awesome experience of your life. 4-H camp is awesome and really fun.
While at camp, you'll take an educational journey participating in hands-on tracks like science, engineering, and technology, water safety, outdoor skills, nutrition, and much, much more.
I think it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had in my whole entire life.
4-H camp is life-changing.
So 4-H camp is an amazing, one-of-a-kind experience that you'll definitely want to have.
4-H camp is awesome.
All right, welcome to Leadership for a Better Louisiana. I believe we have one of our leadership ambassadors is going to do introductions. Alexis, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, and welcome to our first ever leadership camp. Hold on, my camera's acting weird. Okay. Hi, and welcome to our first ever Leadership for a Better Louisiana. This is the first ever virtual leadership camp for youth organized by Louisiana 4-H. This camp is designed to help young leaders learn how to use their talents and skills to make a positive difference in our own community. Before we move on to tell you more about the camp, let's introduce you to our camp instructors and leadership ambassadors. So, for our camp instructors, we have Miss Megan Franks, Dr. Kimberly Jones, Mr. Robert Easley, and Tay Moore. And as far as our leadership ambassadors go, we would like to introduce Anna Little, Sean Myers, Alexis Ellis, and Anna Claire Zarang.
All right, before we go on, we're wanting to, if you've never used Microsoft Teams before for anything, we're just going to introduce you with a couple settings. So we're moving everybody in the camp into an attendee mode just for privacy purposes. That some of the toolbar options that you have, there is a camera. If you'd like to keep that closed, that's fine. There's a microphone next to that. So if you have an option to share during the session today, you can do that. We're for this session of the camp, we're going to disable that present share option. But if you are on a Microsoft Teams, if you're leading a session at any time in the future, that's what you would use to present and share. If you go to speak and it's not working, you can always check that ellipses, those 3 dots on your screen to set up your audio. We're also going to do a little activity icebreaker where you'll get to use some of those different settings in just a second. And at any point in time, you can ask a question in the chat. In that, if you open that chat box icon on your screen, you'll see that. And we'll often be asking you questions in the chat as well. So if you haven't done so yet, there's a question in the chat, just a quick poll, so you can kind of learn how to use those interactive tools. So go ahead and do that. All right, moving on, so just a little overview of what Virtual Leadership Camp is all about. So a couple of us got together and we thought it would be a great idea to provide an opportunity for youth to learn how to use their existing skills to develop a youth-led service project in their community. So during this camp, which is over the course of July, we're going to investigate some of those causes in your community, in your state, or even in your country that you care about, using your own existing skills and talents and passions to support that cause, and then determine what you're going to need to make that happen, whether that's working with an organization or different resources or tools that you might need. Maybe you need supplies. And then, because leadership is collaborative, we're going to collaborate with others to develop this service project. And by the end of the camp have a framework for our own youth-led service project that we can do throughout the next school year. And so the camp schedule, so we will have 4 live interactive sessions throughout July that you can participate in. If you elect not to participate in those sessions, we will record them and email them out to the camp mailing list. Campers that participate in those sessions receive a digital badge for completing each session. And if you interact with us on these live calls, you'll have the chance to win some camp swag that's been generously donated by our Volunteer Leaders Association. All right, now our ambassador Sean's going to lead us on an icebreaker.
All right, y'all. So we're going to start our camp with our first icebreaker. So we're going to learn how to turn on our digital backgrounds. I'm sure you see them on mine and Miss Megan's, but there's a whole group of them that you can choose from. So what you're going to want to do is, you see the ellipses at the bottom that she was talking about? It'll be the, let's see, you have the record button, camera, mic, share screen, and more actions. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see.
So those 3 dots in the middle of your screen.
Okay, so you see the little dots? You're going to click on them. And mine isn't going. Okay, well, you'll click on them and you see the background settings. Wait, let me go back to the main one. Okay, so you're going to click on the dots. It'll say show device settings, show meeting settings, enter full screen, and show background effects. What you want to do is click show background effects, and you'll have a whole variety to choose from. So go ahead and play with that on your screen right now if you want to. There's several that you can choose from. This will help you out in the future whenever you have to do maybe a business meeting or you have another meeting to go through. So go ahead and play with those. Just have fun. All right. Now we gave everybody time to play with that. I think we're going to go ahead and move on. Did everybody realize how to do that? See, Miss Kim got it.
Dr. Fox got it.
Dr. Fox.
Great. And we can share the camp backgrounds in the chat during the call also. Great. All right. Good job, Sean. All right. Let me share my screen again and we'll go to our next icebreaker.
Okay, so our next icebreaker is what would you do with $5, the dollar value of $5? So each of you will have a minute to think about what you would do with these $5. How would you, what would you do with it? If I turned around and gave you $5 today, what would you do with it? Okay, so I'll give you a few minutes to think about that. Will it be meaningful? Will it be financial?
And if you have a pen and paper handy and you want to jot down an idea, so really just think about those $5 and the best thing you could do with them. All right, now we're going to turn on our virtual beach ball, and we're going to hopefully learn some of your ideas. So just give us a second to grab our virtual beach ball. Hope you're thinking some great ideas. Okay, so Sean, do you want to spin the wheel? Or throw our ball, I mean, sorry. All right.
All right. Pink Popcorn Lafayette. May go ahead and share with us what you do with your $5.
Do you want me to say it or type in the chat?
You can tell us. We'd like to hear
Okay.
you if you want to read it. Yeah.
I would probably save it for a rainy day when I needed it, or whenever I had the opportunity to put it towards a good cause.
All right. Thank you for that, Anna Claire. I mean, Pink Popcorn Lafayette. I'm sorry. Okay. You want to spin again, Sean?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right. Purple Pizza Livingston. Go ahead and tell us what you would do with your $5.
I would probably save it as well.
Good. All right.
All right, here's pass the ball again.
Lizzie, go ahead and tell us what you do with your $5, Lizzie.
We might want to check the chat too. We've got a couple of great ideas in there. If she might have typed in the chat. Do you want me to read it to you, Sean? I can read. Okay. So we've got somebody that said financial. Okay. Dr. Fox said she's going to share a snack with a friend. We had another camper say they're going to save the $5. And then we had another camper say that I'm going to save it for college, or I'm going to donate it, invest it in seeds, feed for my animals. There are so many options, but since I have time till college, I'd probably put it towards creating a community garden.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, and we've got another camper that says I'm going to share and help my community. Somebody's going to save it, and somebody would put it in their savings. So lots of good answers. So yeah, and so I think that throughout this activity, even we're doing this virtually, but we've people started thinking about some of the points of this camp, and that you can do quite a bit with quite a little bit of money or resources, right? So it doesn't take a lot, to make something great. And some of you discovered that with your $5 and how you can put it towards the greater good. So, we've got some more coming in. Do you want me to read you those, Sean?
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody said I'm going to put it in the bank to create interest, or put it in the church collection. So also good. I'm going to give it to a homeless person, or buy food first and then give it to them. So great.
Amazing options.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right. So thank y'all for sharing. Now, if you haven't had an opportunity to put your name into the virtual beach ball or the virtual wheel, that was the slide that was up at the very beginning. of the camp. And so what we'll do is I'm going to just quickly share with you that link so that you have it. Great. All right. Anybody else want to contribute their idea before we move on? Lots of great ideas.
It looks like Samantha Shelton said she would save it until she had a chance to donate it to her local organization that betters her community. Good idea.
Yeah, that's great.
Love it.
All right, so we're moving on. So the camp today and all through the July, we're going to talk about leadership for social change. And so we have some of our instructors on the call. We have Dr. Jones, who oversees our citizenship board, and then we have Robert Easley, who's got a great background in leadership and service. And so what is leadership for social change? We know that leadership is a process, it's not a role, and that we can learn and develop leadership skills as we grow. And that leadership is collaborative and it involves working with others to work towards a common goal. It's also inclusive and it's accessible to all people. And then it's based on values, and what we're going to do a couple activities and learn that some of us might value some leadership skills over others, and that community service is a powerful vehicle for change and for leadership. And so throughout this camp, we're going to reference the social change model of leadership and the different values, different facets of it. But today we're going to focus on learning a little bit more about ourselves. And next week, we're going to learn a little bit more about our group. Our instructors have anything to add? Great. I believe I heard Dr. Jones.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just as you think about the core of what 4-H is really based in, and we are really here to make the best better and to serve others. So this really ties into the social change of learning this process to see how we can make a difference in our communities and always. And as Megan said, I am part of the citizenship board, and that's kind of been our focus of different service learning where we can get all 4-H members involved in one area to make a greater impact. And but there's a process with it, and through that process, the youth voice is there, and you're able to kind of identify what's needed and move forward. So it's very much based in what the needs of your community and or what your passion is. And so just kind of keep those things in mind as we move forward.
Great, thank you, Dr. Jones. So let's move on. So what is leadership? And so we know that leadership means different things to different people. And if you've ever had to search for the term leadership, you'll find that there's many different definitions of what leadership is, and sometimes they're very different from others. And our leadership ambassadors, one of the activities, they actually went on the internet and found different definitions of leadership, and they're going to present those to us. But I want to hear from you, and we all want to hear from you. So what is your own personal definition of leadership? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Menti poll. And so if you want to submit your, let's see, there we go, definition of leadership. I've opened the polling, and so if you have another web browser or if you have a mobile device handy, you can go to menti.com and enter code 75238. Okay, so what is your own personal definition of leadership? And then for those of you that have difficulty accessing that poll while you're on this call, you can also share that in the chat. And I'll just give you a minute or so to think about your own personal definition of leadership. So while we're waiting on you guys to submit your ideas, does one of our leadership ambassadors want to tell us what they think, what leadership means to them, their personal definition?
I'll go. So as a leader, I feel like my personal definition of leadership is someone who can bring forth new ideas so that way they can kind of become innovative, because as a leader, you do need to put out new ideas for people to just take in and kind of, I guess, expand our knowledge, because with new ideas comes a new circle of people that you can work with to kind of put forth those ideas and make something great.
Great idea, Alexis. So we've got some definitions coming in now, and we've got a lot of great ideas. So leadership is a way to step up and serve others. Great. Someone who can take the lead, but still stay open to other opinions. So we've emphasized that listening there. Being a caring and helping person, absolutely. To me, leadership means to take charge and take responsibility for a task, as well as helping and leading others. So we're already seeing themes that we feel like helping others, leading others is an important quality of a leader, so that's good. A leader inspires others to be their best while getting the job done and having healthy communication with others. Absolutely, that's great. Leadership is influencing a person or a group of people to achieve a goal, advocating for others, and leadership is helping others grow and gain self-confidence, self-esteem. Leadership is when people are brought together by someone or a group of people to reach a goal. So lots of great ideas. Lots of great ideas. Oh, we're still going. So does one of our leadership ambassadors want to read some of these great ideas?
Yes, ma'am. So leading others through being a good influence. My definition of leadership is being a role model and a good influence. Leadership is putting others before yourself to make sure that the overall goal is being met, whatever that may be. Being the first to do the right thing, lead others, but also help and care about others' ideas. My definition of leadership is being able to lead others while being accepting and caring of them. Someone who takes the initiative and acts on it, but not obsessive for control. They want to help other people become leaders instead of just being followers or bystanders. Amazing.
That's great. Awesome. So, and I do think that there's some submissions in the chat. Does somebody want to read what's come through in the chat?
Megan Madeline had a question that says, do you take or give more experience, knowledge by being a leader and teaching a class and hearing feedback from your students, or being a student learning and giving feedback?
Oh, that's great.
That's a great question.
I think so too.
And I think for me, it goes both ways. I always learn when I am teaching, but not only do I learn about the students that I'm teaching, but also about myself in certain moments. And so I can't say one or the other. I actually gain a good bit of experience and knowledge from both experiences.
I'll be honest in that sometimes I think when I was younger, I thought like I knew a lot about leadership, and I'll say that I've failed quite a bit in that role over the years, and I've learned a lot from others. And sometimes I'll be honest, I've went into a room making a decision where I felt like was the best decision, for an entire group, and then had the group, I guess, tell me why my decision was not the best decision. And then just through listening to them, learned that I was in fact wrong and they were in fact right. And so I think that's one of the something that we also need to work on in being a good leader is just being able to listen to other people and their contributions, and everybody has something to share. So, but I really appreciate that. So lots of great ideas. So now,
I don't know if you wanted me to read some of the other leadership things that are in the chat.
Yes, for sure. And I'm not sure I'm sharing the right screen right now. So.
Lead and follow people so you succeed. Leadership is being a good influence on people around. Leadership is taking charge when needed to help yourself and your students, teammates, so that you all succeed, but still including the others and listening to their ideas and feedback. Leadership is not letting challenges stop you from doing the right thing and what you think is correct for your community, yourself, and others. And then they asked to put the link to the website.
Right,
So,
I shared that in the chat. Great.
Okay, leadership is when a person stands out of crowd and guides others. I think Linda was answering the question that was asked and said, I would say an equal amount. And then as someone wise once said, you never stop learning because life never stops teaching. And then Philip says, personally, I think leadership is the ability to step up and take charge when the times get tough, while also having the courage to know when to step down and let others lead during.
I think that's important too, because leadership is not always easy. Absolutely. I really like that quote. You never stop learning because life never stops teaching. I think that's great. Now, our leadership ambassadors, they found definitions of what leadership was online, just through an internet search. So just, what was out there. So Sean, do you want to read your definition? And then Alexis, do you want to read yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
so
great.
I found, according to Forbes, leadership is a process of social influence which maximizes the efforts of others towards the achievement of a goal. And that was by CEO of LeadX and author of Great Leaders Have No Rules, Kevin Cruz.
Interesting.
The definition I found of leadership is the art of moving a group of people towards an act to achieve a common goal.
That's great. So lots of very different definitions of what leadership is. We see that leadership means different things to different people. When we've seen some of the common themes that have started to evolve, especially for this group, how leadership is. Oh, we got somebody. Sean, would you check the mics on the call to see if we've got to mute a mic? But some of the overarching themes, leaders have to listen. Leaderships have to be invested in their people. Leaders have to be able to make difficult decisions, and they have to listen, and they always have to be open to learning. So lots of common themes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work on an activity. We're going to talk about different qualities of a leader that we value. So I think we have one of our ambassadors that's going to help with this, and I'm going to move on over to our virtual whiteboard. Okay. All right, so Alexis, are you going to poll our audience?
Yes, ma'am. All right, so the next activity we want y'all to do is kind of just describe some important qualities you feel are important to being a leader or becoming a leader. So Miss Megan set up this little whiteboard thing, and as you say your ideas, she'll just type them down.
And if somebody's going to moderate the chat for comments, they're probably going to come in. You can unmute your mic or you can share in the chat.
Well, we have some people in the comments. So we have kindness, confidence, trustworthy, courage,
Ooh.
bravery. These are good. Okay. Perseverance, another honest, humbleness.
I think leadership is like courage.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. So 2 for courage. Great. 2 for honesty. I heard that twice. Great.
We have a lot more answers flooding in. We have wisdom and open-mindedness.
Oh, that's
I like that one. Loyal, stand up for others, motivation, passion, determination. Ooh, a growth mindset. Am I going too fast?
No. Well, maybe. All right, give me give me something I missed.
Accepting or acceptance. Selflessness.
I'll just, okay, hold on. Selfless, yes.
Communication.
I'm going to also open my chat real quick, if that's okay. I'm going to try to catch up with some of your guys' ideas. Wow. What else do we got, Alexis?
All right, we have proactive, not reactive. Resilience. And then we also have guidance, not afraid to fail. Communication skills.
Lots of great ideas coming in. Appreciate it. Great. Communication, I got twice. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got some on the bulletin board, and there's much more in the chat. We've got honesty, kindness, courage, humility, open-mindedness, motivation, passion, growth mindset, selflessness, communication, understanding, proactive guidance, kindness, confidence. What else do you see, Alexis, coming in? Got another resilience, you said. Great ideas. All right, self-awareness, so great. So we got a lot of great important qualities of a leader, and you'll see in your chat, y'all shared a lot of good information. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to another activity. Okay, so want you to take your top 3 leadership qualities that you value the most. So if you could only have 3, what would they be? So if you can, go to the menti.com and enter your code on your screen. Does one of our leadership ambassadors or instructors want to type the link in the chat and the code? So if you had 3 qualities that you had to pick Thank you, Dr. Jones. Your top 3 qualities you value the most. So lots of ideas coming in. So you'll see that as people submit their ideas, their top 3 qualities, the words that we choose the most start to become bigger than others. So kindness, determination, trustworthiness, empathy, communication, understanding, courage, confidence. So it seems like we've got a lot of great qualities that we value, but as you notice, some people might value some qualities over others. Well, great. So let's go back to our slideshow. I'm going to show you something called the qualities of servant leadership. So does anybody know what servant leadership means? Have they heard about it before? Leading by example. Okay, great. What about our leadership ambassadors? You know what servant leadership means?
Yes, ma'am. It's leading while also having the ability to be of service to other people.
Absolutely. So leaders need to also serve. Leaders need to serve before they lead, right? So they have to understand how to serve others. And some of the qualities of a servant leader include listening, empathy, acting intentionally, so dedicating time for other people and empowering other people, removing those barriers that don't allow others to lead and to grow, ability to serve others, help with humility, interacting with integrity, and then also persevering. And so if you start to see the qualities of a servant leader, you'll see that a lot of the qualities that we valued as a group were also qualities of servant leadership. So when you think about servant leadership and you think about the individuals that you interact with in your school, or for those of you in 4-H in your 4-H clubs, maybe you're participating in sports, your coaches, do you start to see some of these many qualities in those individuals? Yes, no? Somebody want to share? Right. And what you'll start to notice that some of the individuals that lead are not necessarily those ones that are always in leadership roles, but the ones that might also be in those mentoring and guiding roles as well. So qualities of servant leadership. Oh, we got some submissions in the chat. Oh, somebody has defined servant leadership. So listening, empathy, acting intentionally, dedicating time for others. Absolutely. And all the rest of them are used by my teachers, my coaches, and my 4-H leaders and myself. Well, very good. Thank you for Camper for your submission. All right, so now we're going to move on. We're going to do a fun little activity. Somebody shared counselors for camp. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I'm going to share this in the chat. And so if you can't do this activity on the call today because of the device you're working on, that's okay. I'm going to send it out in the camp packet. Now, if you made a mistake on your assessment, just go back and retake it from the beginning. That's okay. It's really quick. It only takes a couple minutes. It's only 12 questions. So just take time and do a short leadership style assessment. And this one is from, it's from the University of Southern California, and it has 6 different leadership styles that it analyzes. And so if you take just 5 minutes and do the 12 quick questions, and we're going to talk a little bit more about different leadership styles. And then if you get done your assessment and you want to put a thumbs up in the chat. So we got somebody's already done. That's great. So if you keep working on it. You got servant leadership anyway. That's great. Okay, so if you've done your assessment, you can submit what kind of a leader did you get, and you can answer the poll in the chat. Uh-oh, somebody doesn't agree with their choice. I can see that. we'll take another minute or so. We got 8 people answered the poll in the chat. Okay, great. So we got a lot. I think almost everybody was able to do the assessment. And then if you weren't, I mean, it's just a fun activity to kind of learn a little bit more about yourself. And so I'll also share this in the emails that go out with your post-camp work. And so we did this assessment as a group, and what we came up with. And just that we'll learn more about different leadership styles in future weeks. And so just so you a little bit about what we got. I had transformational leader, so that's somebody that's fosters curiosity in their teams, likes to work as agents of change, works with others to make improvements and achieve goals. And then I think Alexis, you want to share what you got? When you took it?
When I took it, I got postmodern leader.
Okay. And what is that?
So basically, a postmodern leader is a person that's just kind of is able to be creative and bold, and they're kind of able to take their ideas and kind of just want to make it happen, basically.
That's great. What about you, Sean? What did you get when you took it?
I got contrarian. So that means that you're not afraid to go against the norm. I'm an independent thinker who sparks new ideas, and my revolutionary spirit inspires others to take risks when necessary.
That's great. Anybody else want to share? So any of our instructors?
I got postmodern leader.
So what was, sorry, you got, okay. Transformational, I guess, was the highest voted of this group, so that's interesting. But you'll start to see with the different leadership styles, is there one that's better than any other, according to this assessment? Does somebody want to answer that?
No, ma'am. They're all great. We all need these kinds of leaders to make anything happen. So it's amazing that we have that many different types of leaders in this group.
Yeah, and there's strengths and weaknesses to all of them. And so, I mean, I think that's important to recognize. And we all have leadership qualities that we can exercise, and not necessarily any leadership styles better than the other. So it's great. And we'll talk more about leadership styles and continue to revisit those in future weeks. Now we're going to move on and talk about some ideas for social change. And we're going to hear from, I believe, one of our former leaders with Louisiana 4-H also, and about his experience just growing and developing into a leader. But before we do that, I want to encourage you to submit your name to the naming wheel. And so I'm going to type that link again in the chat. So if you haven't had an opportunity to do that, I encourage you to. All right, so if you haven't had a chance to submit your name to the wheel, go ahead and click on that link in your chat and make sure to submit your name. And then just before we move on, one of our campers said, all the types can help in their own unique way. Absolutely. And somebody said, I'm the only meta modern. Yes, for this, potentially this activity, yes, but I don't, but that's just very interesting. So, but you are definitely bringing some unique attributes to the group. That's great. Okay. So moving on. So we do have a guest speaker, I believe, on the call. Mr. Tay Moore, are you still there? Tay, if you're talking, we can't hear you. So I'm going to tag him real quick.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. So were you talking to us and we couldn't hear you?
I was. You couldn't hear me. Same thing as yesterday. I had the wrong microphone, I guess.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Well, we're glad to have you on the call today. So if I could, I'm just going to do a little brief introduction and have you talk, and maybe some folks want to ask you some questions. But so Tay was our former Louisiana 4-H state president. He is also the 2019-2020 Louisiana Student of the Year. And he's coming to LSU as a freshman, and we're very excited about that. But Tay's going to tell us a little, just to give us a few minutes to talk about his story, emphasizing how leadership is a process and it's collaborative, and that everybody is capable of being a leader, but if they're willing to challenge themselves. So Tay, if you want to tell us your story, microphone's yours.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you, Miss Megan, for this opportunity. I love 4-H, as y'all can probably tell. And today we've been talking about leadership, and my project focus throughout high school and 4-H was leadership development and civic engagement. So if there are any of you who are contemplating whether you can lead or not, let me reassure you with 3 letters. Someone said this a few months ago to me, and I thought it was profound. ABC, anybody can. And I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in believing goal or title, when in all reality, leadership is a process where any individual simply gains to give back. And there's no secret recipe to this. The only prerequisite to being involved in this process of leadership is your commitment. And that commitment starts within yourself. I joined 4-H in the 4th grade, and the biggest mountain, I guess you could say, that I had to climb was communication. I had a terrible time communicating with other people, could not public speak. But eventually that got better. And I realized that we're not the leaders, and I want to tell you that you're not a leader of tomorrow, because tomorrow is not promised. You're a leader today. And so we must fix our minds to embrace that. And a bunch of you have probably heard my 4-H story, so I don't have to go through all of the details. But one thing that you can take from it is that a kid from literally the middle of nowhere grew into so much, accomplished so much, and was not able to do this because of loads of talent and ability, but rather a willingness to serve others. And I never gave up, and I strived to better myself in order to better serve this world. And so, like I said, the problems that I had with communication, I would always get nervous. Well, what will people think when I begin to speak, with my accent or whatever, or just get nervous about what I was going to say. And then I realized that the purpose of me speaking to others and doing something like this is not just so other people can hear my voice, is not just so, they can critique everything that I have to say, but it's so that I can sow something into them. And so we have to realize our why as leaders. And once you realize that why, you'll have a smoother ride in your journey as a leader. The more we allow ourselves to be pushed out of our comfort zone and learn how to better communicate, the better off we are, not only for ourselves, but it's also easier for us to attain and achieve this goal of social change that Miss Megan and them will talk about. And I'm here to just tell you that you can do this, but you have to be willing to do this. So you have to stop counting yourself short because you're not this person or that person, because you're not the greatest speaker, maybe because you don't like public speaking. You have to dedicate your energy and what you have to offer to the betterment of the group for everyone. And realize that you're not in this alone. The successes that I've had have not just been because of me. And so I found role models and good friends. And so I encourage you to find folks in your life that you can look up to. And don't attempt to just replicate their success, but hold conversations with these people and take in knowledge. Heed to their advice. Those folks will not always be present. So while you have the time, you need to soak as much as you can from them and build on what they have to offer. And you can do this. So just remember that ABC, anybody can be a leader. So commit to your leadership journey, and I guarantee that you will be a great one. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Does one of our ambassadors want to read I believe there's a question in the chat. And then I have a clarifying question for Tay, but.
Yes, ma'am. So, Tay, Madeline Fossum asked, what kind of leadership responsibilities did you have as the 4-H state president?
Yes. So, as the 4-H state president, I guess I was really an advocate for the program to our government leaders, and also I was the leader of our state executive board, which plans many conferences, leadership events, and really serves 4-H programs on the local level and advocates for youth to be more active in the program. And so that's what I did as the state 4-H president, kind of changed the culture of the executive board, I guess you could say, really bled off my servant leadership to other people and was just there to encourage other youth, share my 4-H story. And I also served on committees with youth and adult committees like the State 4-H Foundation, camp committees, and those to make sure that youth voice was represented in all areas of our program. Hope that answered your question, Madeline.
Another person asked, hey, who was your main support?
Well, I've had a bunch of support, and I guess it really started here at my house. My parents have always been very supportive. My mom's a go-getter, and so she's always pushing us to be the best that we can be. And the same thing with my dad. He's very hardworking. So I've had support from them, but also had support from my teachers at the teacher who made me join 4-H, who made all of us join 4-H because it was the only club at our school, is still working at the school now, and she's supported me throughout this whole journey. Miss Karen Martin, who's our Northwest Regional coordinator, has really supported me and sewn into me. So many leaders, my 4-H agent, Miss Liz, when she was here, and there's just so many people along the way who have sewn into me and helped me grow to the person I am today. And when you mention that, I do want to encourage all of you to start making a list of people who have made an impact on your life. And it can even be a random person. I wish I would have written down everyone's name, whoever gave me a little piece of advice or encouragement. And I wish I would have taken note of that encouragement so that I could look back at it and write that person a thank you card and let them know that I appreciate what they gave me.
Amanda asked, what kind of leadership style have you focused yourself on in 4-H all these years?
Yes, my main leadership style was servant leadership. And as we serve others, we become better people ourselves. And it was instilled in me at a young age, that regardless of your wealth, land, your last name, that you are blessed. I am blessed, and we can influence others with just what we have to offer. And life is not just about enjoying the blessings, being in the spotlight, getting to say that you're the state 4-H president. But it's about making a positive impact in the life of another young person, making a positive impact in our school, in our community, in your workplace, in your church. And so I've strived to serve other people. When I walk into a room, I want everyone else to realize that they are important, that their voice matters.
And I have a question, Tay, and So you said ABC, anyone can lead. Can you clarify that quote you gave us?
Yes. ABC, anybody can.
Okay, anybody can. That's great. I just wanted to make sure I had that right. Awesome. Do we have any more questions, Sean, for Tay?
Ma'am. So Madeline Fossum asked, you may also have the answer to this question I've heard for a while. Does the matter of years you have been in 4-H affect your eligibility to become things like the 4-H state president? I joined in 5th grade.
No, it does not. One of the great things about Louisiana 4-H is that there's something for everybody. And the opportunities that are available to someone who's been in 4-H since they were in the 5th grade are also available to someone who just joined when they're in the 8th grade. The only thing to be the state president, you have to have served on the executive board for I believe it's a year before you can run to be the state president.
Well, great. Well, we appreciate you, Tay. Sean, are there any more questions in the chat?
It doesn't look that way. I don't think we have any more.
Great. Well, Tay, are you going to stay on the call just in case somebody wants to send you a note in the chat?
Sure thing, for sure. And I'll also share my contact information if someone would like my email or something.
That's great. Thank you so much. And Tay's going to help us with future sessions too. So we'll have him around, as well as our NCDs, our leadership ambassadors, and then Anna Little. She's our current Louisiana 4-H state president. She's unable to be on the call today for some of her responsibilities, but she's going to be on the call in future weeks as well. So we'll hear from some more of our great 4-H leaders.
Thank you, Miss Megan. And just remember, guys, you're not the leaders of tomorrow because tomorrow is not promised. You're a leader today.
That's awesome. Thank you, Tay. All right, so we're going to move on and we're going to talk about social change. So what is social change anyway? And so most of us answered our pre-camp packet. We had to think about just an issue or something in our community or state or our country that we really wanted to get involved in. So something we wanted to make where we wanted to see change happen. And many of you had a lot of great ideas for social change. And some of you said, I just want to do great things, but I really don't know what I'm passionate about yet. And that's all right. So we have a lot of issues that we can be committed to. We have things that we're passionate about, and some of our life experience might dictate why we're so invested in a certain cause. And so just a little bit about, for example, I'm really interested in disaster preparedness. And so one of the, in my past, I was at work one time and one of my employees drove home in the middle of a tornado that hit his town, actually destroyed his town. And it was really a difficult process for me because I didn't know for many hours if this individual was safe or not. They ended up being safe, but in saying that, we spent about 2 good weeks working in the Volunteer Command Center and during the Louisiana tornado in Mississippi. And I learned a lot about disaster preparedness, and one of the things that kind of motivated to develop and make change happen. And many of us have different issues that we're committed to and stories to share. And so you may not necessarily have something that you're committed to yet, but hopefully on the course of this camp, you learn that there are some specific things that you're passionate about and how you can use your existing skills and talents to drive change for that issue. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to share. So what are some issues affecting our country, state, or communities that you're passionate about? So some of you, for example, said bullying was something that you're invested in. Some of you said hunger. Some of you talked about maybe I didn't have anything yet, but I was really thinking. And so if you want to I'm going to open up the poll again. And so if one of our ambassadors wants to share the link, or one of our instructors wants to share that link. And I don't have it open yet. I'm sorry. Just give me one moment to open that question. So just take a moment to think. All right, so some of the issues affecting our country, state, our communities that you're passionate about. So take a moment, you can share in the chat. Or if you can't share in the Menti poll, you can share in the chat. And if somebody wants to share the link and the code in the chat, while we're waiting for some people to give us ideas. So if you share that in the chat, and I'm gonna flip back really quick to the previous screen where they've got some different causes. If you're still kind of thinking about some ideas. And Dr. Jones, she shared the link and the code in the chat for you if you need to get that. And does somebody want to read any of our chat contributions while we're waiting on some of our Menti poll to come in? Somebody asked me to go back to the other slide. I just want to clarify, do you want me to go back to the other slide with the different issues on it? Okay, great. I will absolutely do that. There you go. So give some time to think. So I'm going to go through some of these and just read you a couple. So bullying and violence, dropout prevention, disasters, reduce, reuse, recycle, water, conservation. We've got hunger and homelessness as a big issue. Healthy living, access to school, access to places for recreation, places to play. A couple that were shared in the chat that I think are really important, and this is not limited just to these ideas, but you know, in the chat, somebody said learning disability and taking away that stigma, learning disabilities, it's good. We had homelessness, animal abuse, flooding, hunger, access to internet for students, which is a big issue right now, and I appreciate you sharing that. So some of the ones that we shared, so we've got media bias, so spreading good information of how to find good sources, schools cutting music programs, so somebody's very passionate about, and I absolutely agree, equitable healthcare, education, diversity awareness, accepting of differences, bullying and violence, flooding, erosion, homelessness, equity, lack of support and funding, promotion of small business, thank you, very good, pollution, helping people understand the importance of agriculture, cultural awareness, mental health awareness and bullying, animal welfare, eliminating hunger by participating in programs that feed the homeless, bullying, hunger, and COVID-19. Okay, and affecting our country and communities is that war veterans and their disabilities go over and are often taken for granted. So lots of really great ideas, and that shows that you all are very passionate about different causes and how you'd like that affect our community. And so hopefully over the course of this camp, we'll learn how we can use our own unique skills to develop service projects around these different causes. So great ideas. Thank you for sharing. Anything else in the chat that we need to share?
There's a few others in the chat. Let's see. Animal abuse, violence from inequality of different races, equal rights, special education for those who struggle with curriculum, and a submitted on Mentee passion about animal abuse, equality for both gender and race, and education.
So lots of great ideas. And so over the course of this camp, we're going to provide you with a lot of examples of youth-led service projects where youth were committed to a cause and used their talents and skills to develop a project around that cause. And so just be thinking and be creative. So what it is that you want to do, how you're going to try to use those unique skills, what you're going to need resource-wise to get it done, and then who you're going to need to work with to make your change happen. So we might think we have an answer now, and that might change or evolve over the course of the camp if we're getting new ideas about how we can drive change. But still start kind of, if you could have everything that you needed to make that change happen, what would it look like? All right. And so now, before we kind of move on, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to do a quick, another fun activity. It's called Leading with Colors. And so next week, we're going to talk more about social change, developing our service project, and we're going to work in groups. And so how we're going to do that? Well, be on the call next week because it's going to be a lot of fun. But first, what we need to do is we need to do some color assessments so that we know how to lead effectively with our colors. And so on the screen, you'll see a link to a collaborating colors assessment. And I will share that in the chat. So take a few minutes. It's very easy to do and it's fun. And I just shared that with you in the chat. And then if you are unable to do it on the call today, I will definitely send out the links in the after camp email packet so you can get that, take that collaborating with colors test. Whoops. So if you get done your color assessment, you can give us a thumbs up in the chat. Or you can share your results. That's great. We're waiting for results. Do our ambassadors or our instructors want to share their colors? Share what they got.
Well, I believe Sean and I both got the color green, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yes. I think it really describes who I am, and I think it describes Alexis well too. So.
Yeah, and I shared just a quick poll in the chat as well. You guys get done, and sorry, I think I just interrupted somebody. Does somebody have something to share?
I was just sharing that I'm gold.
Okay. And I'm a green also, so that's a person that's a logical thinker, analytical, likes data and information to make decisions. So, and then just a little bit about colors as we submit our results in the chat. So golds are dutiful, stable. They're they value organization. They desire punctuality, like to schedule their lives, enjoy positions of authority, and desire structure, right? Where blues are kind of like the nurturer in the relationship, and they think about feelings and others as well, and so they're always like, I consider them always the kind of the people persons in a group, and they often think about others and developing those close relationships. Whereas if you work with oranges, they're kind of more free and spontaneous. They thrive in crises and complicated work. They're impulsive risk takers, which you can start to see how sometimes not all of the colors work together if you don't know where others are coming from. And they like to bring excitement to society. And then where your greens, like I said before, are more logical and innovative, and they seek to understand the world, often asking those questions and trying to understand. And a lot of greens on the call, that's very interesting. So the other thing about this color assessment, and if you guys are interested, I can send out a little bit of a more detailed one that you can do on your own time. But more often you have a dominant color and a secondary color. And so, for example, I'm a green, but my secondary color is an orange. And then I find that if I work with oranges, I become a lot more orange. And I've had a number of supervisors in my past that have been oranges as well, which makes me more orange. My husband's also orange, so it's interesting. I have a difficult time I'm predominantly green, so I have sometimes difficulty working with blues until I realize that individual is blue, and then I've learned to kind of mirror and change the way that I communicate with that individual, knowing that they're looking at those, the emotions, and they're thinking about the people. And then golds, I feel like everybody needs a gold in their life, and sometimes golds can be a little bit of a challenge to work with because of their how they value organization, and they like that schedule, and they like to have a plan and a framework put in place, whereas sometimes the orange in me just likes to go at a challenge. And so I think we all can see how the different colors can have their strengths as weaknesses. And then if you're working in groups or you're working with others, just having an understanding of how people might come to a project with their different colors, and then how to work with those individuals. And so in future weeks, we're going to learn a little bit more about working with the different colors as we embark on some projects together. So anybody else want to share any of our instructors or ambassadors about colors and working with different colors?
Well, when you're working with a team, it's important to have, I guess, all the colors in a group, just so you can kind of have different ideas and perspectives on a topic or opinion. But even though like some colors do work well together and some colors don't, but I feel like all the colors are mainly important to what can make and build a team.
Absolutely, I agree. And so can you start to see where some frustrations might arise between colors? Does anybody want to share in the chat where you think there might be challenges?
I can see in the chat where some are making it known that they see themselves in many colors, and that is also very important to identify, because depending on the situation, that part of your color may be more prominent. So I think that we probably all have a little bit of all of these. And like Megan said, she has her first primary and secondary, but it may be a little bit of all sprinkled in there. So sometimes the situation will bring about a different color.
I agree. In my personal life, I am very orange. I go about all of my, I guess, personal passions with very orange, whereas in work I'm very green. And then I think we had somebody share, it gave me gold, which for the explanation it gave is mostly tree, but I absolutely know that I'm green. And so I just want to share that one of our leadership ambassadors disagrees with the color of this assessment. However, from some of the interactions I've had with that individual, I do believe that some of the colors, some of it's correct. However, I don't agree with all of it. And so you could take it again and then take it at different times, depending on how you're feeling. You know, your colors might change. And I do think that people can change over time. Great. So in future weeks, we're going to learn a little bit more about colors, and it's working with individuals of different colors. And next week, we're trying to do a group project together. And so look for, and there after these slides, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what's to come next week. But we're going to take a break, and we're going to win some prizes. So thanks to our VLA, we actually do have some prizes for our campers. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give away 2 t-shirts, Leadership for a Better Louisiana, and a pair of socks. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a naming. We're going to do our wheel. So if you just give me a second to pull that up. All right. And one more second, just having to, here we go. Pull up our wheel, our first prize. Sorry, y'all, my screen's going a little slow today. Here we go. I'm working on it. All right, does everybody see the wheel? Sharon, Sean, do you see my wheel? Do you want to give it a spin?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, here we go.
Purple macaroni concordia. You won.
Great. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull your information from the response that you put in and contact you about getting the t-shirt. So great. All right, now we're going to move on and we're going to do some Kahoot. So give me a moment to get this loaded. All right, so if you've never done Kahoot before, you go to kahoot.it. And enter your game code. Does somebody want to share the Kahoot pin in the chat? Thank you, I appreciate that. So kahoot.it and then the game pin in the chat. If you want to share the link, we'll give you guys a little bit more time. And then we're going to play for the socks on the Kahoot. And then the last t-shirt will be with the completing the post-camp reflection that's going to be sent out this afternoon. We've got 21 players, 24, 25. Anybody else joining? Oh, we got 30. Anybody else? Great. All right, I think we're ready to play. Oh, still some more jumping in. I'll give you some time there. Let's play for socks. 34 on the call, on the game. 36. Is there anybody else still waiting to get on? Okay, I think we're good. All right, here we go. You ready? Servant leaders. Make decisions without getting input from others. Ooh, are committed to developing others. Woo, quick, that one was a quick one. Genius Falcon is winning right now. It's a quick, all right. You guys ready for another question? This one's not gonna go as fast. Here we go. True or false? Leadership is something you are born with and not something you can learn. Make sure everybody gets a response. 33 said, oh, 34, here we go. Genius Falcon winning the way. Oh, no, Daring Raven, sorry. All right, now the next are going to go really fast, you guys, okay? These are going to go quick. So here we go. Is everybody ready? Okay. True or false? Leadership means the same thing to everyone. Ooh. Fuzzy Lion takes the lead. Here we go. Highest climber, Agile Jaguar. Highest climber. Okay, great. Awesome. All right. Next question. Everybody ready? Get those fingers ready. It's going to go quick. True or false? A better modern leader is the best leadership style for social change. Woo, that was a trick question. There we go. All right. We know that all styles can work for social change. Daring Raven takes the lead, and Combo Breaker dropped their answer streak of 3. Ooh. All right, quiz question. The next session of Leadership Camp for Social Change is when? Somebody got it. There we go. Who's climbing? Daring Raven. That takes up 9 places. Happy Badger is the highest climber. Okay, here we go. Next question. You guys ready? True or false? According to the color test, orange should not work with green. Oh, quick, trick question. We can work with everybody, right? Oh, we'll be willing to work at it. All right, next question. Daring Raven in the lead. Here we go. Up 7 places, Rockstar Sable, highest climber. All right, next Kahoot. Here we go. 7 of 7. According to the color test, blues are... It's hard. Oh, emotionally driven. You guys got it for the most part. Let's see. All right. Daring Raven is the winner. Brave Lion is second. Aquatic Octopus. Oh, wait. Sorry. Aquatic Octopus was the ringer. I had that wrong. I'm so sorry. Aquatic Octopus. Okay. If you won Kahoot, you can stay on after the call when everybody leaves so I can get your information for the socks. If you won Wheel of Names, stay on also so I can make sure I get your information as well. And now we're going to move on and talk about what's next. So good job, y'all. All right. Aquatic Octopus. Wait. Okay. Before next week, you want to do some research. I'm going to send out a packet to the email that you all registered for the camp. So I want you to find a cause you care about. And then you're going to have a couple tools to kind of brainstorm your own unique skills and talents and how you can use those to support the cause. And it's just an opportunity to dream. So don't be afraid to be creative. You can see your camp packet that'll be emailed out for more details. And so check that email that you registered with for the camp, and that will get the information will be sent out this afternoon, this evening, I mean. And then also There will be a post reflection from today's lesson, and if you want to do that reflection, because you'll have another chance to win a t-shirt by doing that reflection. So there's 3 chances each time to win. Also, if you do your reflection, you get a digital badge. So if you did your first, the pre-camp work, you got your camp participant badge. And those are badges you can actually share on social media. You can print certificates for those badges and then print the digital copy of those badges as well. We use Badger to release our digital badges. So make sure to do that. You'll get an email with the link to complete that post-camp reflection, similar to how you did the pre-camp as well. And next week on July 14th, our topic is collaborating with others, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope that you'll join us and you'll have chances to win, and we'll play Kahoot again. So we seem to really enjoy that.